Roll up, let Dr. Ripper entertain you with his freaks that are fabricated. Hello and welcome to the Friday Fantasy Show from the Bottled Imp. Exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyter, and today we are taking a look at Dr. Ripper's Fabricated Freaks, which is a storybook for adults with a warped sense of humour by Rich Nairn. Now, I know Rich Nairn, so I'm going to declare my interest now. You might have heard his name before. He, and maybe seen him on the channel actually at UK Games Expo. He is the illustrator for the Bottled Imp. He did the Grockle Snook, a little imp and the little logo. Plus, he also illustrated my book, The Legends of Grimous Ironblood, as well. Now, I've known Rich for about 5 years now, 6 years, when we met on the film set of Hugo, the Martin Scorsese film. And he was, when we weren't filming, he was furiously caricaturing everybody in sight. And now he's written a book and illustrated it. Let's take a look at some freaks. Dr. Ripper's Fabricated Freaks, what is it all about? Well, it is a collection of 13 short stories. They are all in verse and they are all illustrated. And each story has a number of illustrations throughout the book, and the premise of it is that there's a character called Dr. Ripper, and he has collected over the years several freaks that he has now got on display for your entertainment, if you like that sort of thing. As you can imagine, this is heavily based in the Victorian era. It's when there used to be proper freak shows that used to go around from town to town, which I guess to us seems a little bit weird nowadays, doesn't it? That people would actually pay to see these real-life freaks of nature. Rich has taken that concept and he has grown it into... It's very, very adult, and he quite rightly does warn everybody on the back and on the front the nature of the book. If you like things like Viz and Modern Toss and Rick and Morty, then this is the same sense of humour. It's very grotesque, it's certainly for adults, it's not for children, and it has a very warped way of seeing the world. It's all in verse, so every single short story is in verse, which obviously gives it a nice sort of rhythm to it, a nice kind of roll up, come see my freaks. You can just imagine Dr. Ripper actually telling you these stories. And Rich used to, he was inspired by this, by the people he used to work with. He used to be a projectionist at a cinema, which I think is kind of a dying breed now, isn't it? And in his downtime, he used to draw these little comics that were based on the people that he worked with and some of his friends as well, that he always found were slightly weird, and he then obviously would exaggerate them, and he made them into little comics. But then it was all set in a cinema, and then he worked at Dickens World. He became a full-time caricaturist, and he had a little pitch at Dickens World, which is as it sounds, it's all about Charles Dickens and the works of Charles Dickens, and all the characters and actors would dress up, and it's like walking into a big film set, and you would learn about Dickens and the characters. And part of that, you could get your caricature done, if you liked, from Rich. And again, he had the same idea. The people that he worked with, he would base some stories, and the stories that he heard, he would exaggerate them. And he has then come up with this book, and he's now elaborated on it, because they're now in an asylum, and it's basically Dr. Ripper has, charging people to come and look at these freaks for the entertainment. And Rich was umming and ahhing about this book for quite a while. He kind of said he took quite a while to finish this book. He said also that because he started working on my book, that he got inspired by that, because obviously I had to give him a deadline. I was going to get it printed. And he then realised, he could actually just, if he knuckles down, he could just finish the book. And I'm glad he did, because this book is one of those sort of gem of a book. Although I do know him, this is an honest opinion. It is one of those books that sort of just, if you like that sense of humour, you will love it. If you don't like the sort of warped modern toss or Viz or, the sort of, I guess, Beavis and Butthead type humour, then you're probably not going to like it. It is going to be a Marmite, thing for you. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. There are various themes that run through each story. I'm just going to give you a few of them. You got vanity in, I think it's the first story, with Ashley and Michael Ponsonbury Carruthers, the strangely obsessive Vanity brothers. There's childbirth and parenthood in the story Catherine Scarf and the Murderous Laugh. Then you've got alcohol addiction, so it goes into all this, I guess it's the more seedier side of life. In Laura LaGruff, the girl who enjoys bad stuff. And there's one more that I'll tell you about, which is it's the struggle of growing up and going through your kind of teenage years. And it's Claire Von Peevage and the Violent Cleavage. Yes, it is as strange as the title sounds. And that's kind of the key attraction, as I say. If you like that sort of warped sense of humour, then you definitely like this. It's not politically correct in any shape or form, but it's all done, knowing it's all done that, yes, this is for laughs. This is a preposterous book. None of the opinions in here should be taken seriously whatsoever. And accompanying them, as I say, each story is a number of illustrations that are beautifully illustrated. They are black and white line drawings, and there's loads of detail in it. And what I find, and this is why I was really happy that Rich agreed to illustrate my book, he's very good at capturing the essence of characters and very expressive in their looks and in their detail and the way you can look at one of his pictures and kind of know exactly what the character's thinking. And it really does suit the type of stories that Rich has got there. They're very warped illustrations as well, obviously, because they're reflecting what stories he's actually telling. And overall, I absolutely love this. It's very amusing. It's every single one. There's a good tittering went on, and it's one of those sort of things that I guess here we go, coming up for Christmas. It is that sort of stocking filler book. It's not massively thick. As I say, they're short stories, so you can read it pretty much in one sitting. It's the sort of, hopefully Rich doesn't mind me saying this, it's the sort of book that you could read on the loo, and that is a compliment, trust me. The illustrations, as I say, they're great. It's always good to see any illustrations, and Rich is one of these people that's just very, very creative. So, as I say, if you like adult sense of humour that's warped and grotesque and, very bizarre, and you like creativity, then definitely this would be the book for you. That's Dr. Ripper's Fabricated Freaks. That was the freak show that is Dr. Ripper's Fabricated Freaks by Rich Nairn. It is available on Amazon, and I think if you somehow, you can contact him. He's got a Twitter account as well. He is doing signed editions. I think you have to pay a little bit extra for those signed editions, but he is doing signed editions. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed that episode, and we do have loads more. We are coming up for our 100th episode on a Friday. The Friday Fancy Show will be 100 episodes in a couple of episodes' time. Hurrah! Until next time, keep it unreal, especially if you're a freak.